What is going on? Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the Extras. Hope y'all had a great week. See, we got a couple people in the chat there already. Becky, first in there, welcome. Holding it down for Nancy, she says. I think Nance is on his little trip. Falcor, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good week out there with the dogs. Sorry, I'm still getting set up here. This whole thing was inspired by, I saw a video that was absolutely terrifying. And, you know how, like, when you watch one video, YouTube will be like, oh, hey, here's another one that's similar to that. Well, if you do that too many times, you can find crazy stuff. And I found a crazy one. You know, like Becky bowls. She's a bowler. That's a good hobby. I like that. I like that as a hobby. I'm not good at it, but it's fun, you know? You can make friends, build some community, you know? You get to know the people who work at the bowling alley and get better as you pick up different tricks from people and people teach you things and whatever. I love that about a hobby, right? That's like the rewarding part of having a hobby is like the friends and the talking and the fun and right? Well, like these hobbies, there's none of that stuff. None of that stuff. There's no talking to each other most of the time. And it's just kind of like a struggle to survive, which seems like the opposite of a hobby to me. I don't know why people put themselves in these situations. He says, neither am I on days. Yes, Falcor, not another rabbit hole. Becky says, yes, bowling folks are very nice. See, the people who do these hobbies are probably very nice too. But they can't really talk to each other because they're so busy, like, fighting to stay alive. And I knew that people do extreme things. You know, I've seen the we're doing high noon, by the way. We got a new case, so we got the coveted cranberry. I know about the skydivers, okay? Base jumpers, I get it. I get that. But these guys, I don't know. I don't understand. So if you are well, I'll warn you when it comes up. But if you're claustrophobic, the second half might be bothersome, okay? But first we're going to talk about Mount Everest. Okay? And I said in the description that this is all just about people checking boxes in the scariest places on Earth. And that's really, I heard a mountaineering instructor talking about climbing Everest, and that's how he put it. He's like, climbing is it's just checking boxes. To say, yes, I did the thing. I climbed to the top of blank. And Everest is like the big one. But now it's become kind of a business. And when business gets involved, everything goes awry. No longer is it for the thrill or the achievement or the fun. Now it's kind of like to mount an expedition to Everest is like something like $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, maybe more. Depends on your guide and the quality of your guide. And that will come in later as well. It seems like the kind of thing where you would want to pay top dollar. Like if you're gonna try to go to a place called the Death Zone on purpose, you probably want to like pay the best people, right? So, but also, you know, people complain about how that industry has kind of taken away the fun and the adventure and the wild unknown aspect of climbing, because there's so many other people there while you're doing it. You're not really experiencing nature, but it's still all of the danger is still there, and arguably more dangers than normal when there's a lot of people there. So here is just to give you a little taste. This is a video from the summit of Mount Everest. These are two guys like putting a flag down. And you see like, well, there's several people here, but they all have guides called Sherpas. And these are people who live, I believe, in Nepal, locally to the area. And they are expert climbers and mountaineers. And they're acclimated to the area. So they help you kind of, you know, get up there. And this is the summit. I mean, it's cool, but like, I don't know, dog. Like, just the view over his shoulder, that's terrifying to me. Like, I want no part of this. Being out in the middle of nowhere, just surrounded by snow, you're at 27,000 feet or whatever it is. Why? What? Why? Why are you doing that? Like, this guy, for him, it was not enough to just get to the top.
Yep. Recording? Yep.
You gotta, now, he has to breathe a bunch of times in his oxygen tank because there's so little oxygen up there that he is struggling to say this short sentence that he does, and then he does a little thing, because it's not scary enough just to be at the top of Everest.
Good morning for the top of Mount Everest. Oh.
Nearly executed the backflip, which I wouldn't do a backflip either, probably. I'm very into like self-preservation, you know? At 30,000 feet, I mean, his rope almost caught him up there too. Like, if you get hurt doing that, you get hurt at the top, that's where you live now for the rest of your life, however long it is. Because no one can help you down from this place if something happens. And that is another scary part, is there's really no such thing as an Everest rescue. But they've done them. And so, okay, this is from Wired. It's from a couple of years ago, but it still applies. Everest is still the same mountain, okay? And
what is the book you couldn't keep to yourself?
I didn't know who would even care about.
Okay, we get to watch awesome commercials. So, in this video from Wired, they are going to explain kind of what the dangers of climbing Everest can be, and kind of how they try to mitigate that.
Is a very we took somebody from sea level to the top of Everest, no supplemental oxygen, no support. They would be unconscious within minutes. Everest is a very inhospitable
Sounds
environment.
really fun.
Hundreds of people attempt to summit Everest every year during the small once-a-year window that weather allows. Not everyone makes it, and 2023 was an especially fatal year.
Falcor says the amount of dead bodies on Everest is wild. Dude, I know. Like when you pass away up there, they can barely help a living person down the mountain, okay? If you aren't able to move, there's very few people who would be able to, much less willing to risk their own life to get you out of there. So yeah, when someone dies up there, they're just there forever. Like, to the point where there are certain people that are, their body is used as a landmark in the climb. Black Magic in the chat. What is going on? He says, yo, happy Friday. I forgot about the time change. You know, living in Arizona and all, I was hoping there was to... Yeah. I was a little late today. Sorry, I was 30 minutes behind. He said I need to jump off here in a few, but I'll catch up on the replay. Well, hey, I hope you have a good weekend, my man. Thank you for checking in. Becky says, don't they have tons of bags of poop on it? That's the other thing is if you... Yes. The short answer, yes. Because there's no facilities up there. No plumbing. No plumbing at 28,000 feet, if you can believe it. Sorry, I've muted over their intro, but here, let's learn about the most terrifying place on Earth.
Everest Base Camp, around 17,500 feet. The molecule...
Okay, base camp. Base camp is 17,500 feet. Black Magic says, I have heard the poop thing too. Yeah, I think, like, you probably try to hold it, right? But, like, I don't know if I want my bare skin out at that level, that temperature, you know? I'm not sure. They gotta have some way to do, but then also, like, hold on. Let's go back to this line here. This is from Daily Mail, so they'll probably do a copyright claim, but we can mute it at the very least. Hold on. Here's our buttons. All right. Okay. Look at this. The tagline says recklessly long queues at the top of Everest, and it's just a line of hundreds of people climbing single file. If you have to go to the bathroom in this, like, where are you going? You know what I mean? Like, where you just kind of go off to the side and be like, y'all, don't look over here for a minute. I didn't even think about that. That's another ridiculous problem that, like, no one needs to have. You don't need to go do this. You don't. And all these people paid like $100,000 each to be here. Sorry. Okay. Back to this. Now, she's gonna explain how Mount Everest tries to kill you. This is okay. So 17,000 feet is base camp. That's insane to me. But all right, go off. Oh wait, and okay, I've got her muted. Sorry about that.
This is Everest Base Camp, around 17,500 feet. The molecules are twice as far apart. You've already lost half of your oxygen. So 2,500 meters. That's when you would start to see changes. I didn't know that about the
molecules.
So we're well above that here.
So your molecules are coming apart,
People do get high-altitude pulmonary edema and high-altitude cerebral edema here as well.
High-altitude pulmonary edema and high-altitude cerebral edema? Okay. Those neither of those sound fun from my new hobby I'm learning about here. And they're doing this on purpose, doctor.
People also get GI problems because there are a lot of people living here. So it's not unusual for people to get nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. That's probably one of the biggest problems at base camp is just sanitation. And a lot of people fly in and then come.
I mean, look, I didn't even. Just had to play it a little bit. I had to play it a little bit longer. Black magic says, "Not my molecules, me either, my friend. I am firmly planted on the ground. Okay, I don't even like tall ladders. The tallest ladder I own is a 24-footer, and if your issue is taller than that, you'll have to call someone else." Yeah, so it wouldn't be me up there at all. I will never have to worry about this. But yeah, so this is an actual video of the base camp, and it's just it looks like a rock quarry. Like, there's literally zero infrastructure up there. Not even a cabin, not a lean-to, nothing. But okay, so the biggest problem at base camp is gastrointestinal and sanitary. All right, people are dying of like dysentery and like diseases that we should have gotten rid of 200 years ago because they choose to do this. All right.
Come up the valley and get GI bugs. So GI bugs are a big problem here.
The Kumbo Icefall is a constantly moving frozen river, creating deep and wide crevasses.
And then also, like, what are you eating as you're climbing up here? Because I assume, you know, you try to, like, warm something up maybe, but, like, what are they, just eating crackers for... I don't know. Maybe they say.
It was also the site of a deadly avalanche that killed 16 in 2014.
See, that's
the Kumbo
another
Icefall
option.
Is a steep...
This is another option. Avalanches are another option that can happen to you when you're on this, when you're doing this fun hobby. The mountain can just land on top of you with no warning.
Area of lots of broken ice, lots of crevasses and seracs. And the biggest problem here is that ice will...
What's a serac? Lots of crevasses and seracs. I don't even know what a serac is, but I guess I
fall
don't
on
need
you,
to
or you
know.
will fall in a crevasse. It's really difficult because there's no place to land a helicopter.
Big hole,
because you need
probably.
a flat space. You could pick somebody off with a short haul rescue,
Someone
but it's
smart
unlikely
explain
that
to
you're
me
gonna
what
do
a
that.
serac
No matter what part of
is.
the mountain climbers are on, proper gear is essential, not just for staying warm, but
Okay, see, they got some animals. I like that.
for survival. Here's some of Emily's essential gear bag.
So here's some of the standard gear that we use on Everest. Down suit, it's pretty warm. Here's some big mittens, and they're so big that you actually wear another pair of gloves underneath. This is that harness that I wear at high altitude. You have this thing, we call it a crab claw, and it's connected to the harness. You have crampons, you know, spikes that you put on your feet.
And some gear can save your life or kill you.
Okay.
So this
All
is my
that
ice
stuff
axe.
seems like
pretty
pretty
standard
basic.
ice axe for glacier travel. One of the ways we use the ice axe, it's not a walking stick, it's more to stop yourself. So what you do is you turn over, and you get in anchor position. You try to get this
Sorry, I didn't realize
into
that
the
was a
snow
little
to
loud.
slow yourself down or stop yourself. It is a tool when it's in control. It is a weapon when it's out of control.
Oh my
And one of the
gosh.
reasons there's
Yeah,
no
no
wrist
kidding.
loop on here is if you fall and it's attached to you with a wrist loop and you lose control of the axe, wow, that's not a good situation.
Camp 3 is a 30-degree snow slope with rocky exposed.
Like, just looking at that right there, like, nope, huge nope. I don't want to be anywhere near wherever this video was taken.
ledges.
We go up the western Coombe to Camp
Okay.
2, which is about 21,000 feet, 21,500 feet.
Ooh, wow. Okay, so you're going, that's quite a bit of elevation change right there. So you're already at 21,000. Wow.
From
All
here,
right.
we go up the Lhotse face to Camp 3, which is on the Lhotse face. One of the big problems
another
going from Camp 2 to Camp
2,000
3
feet.
is that's a big jump at a high altitude. And so maybe somebody who's had a little bit of acute mountain sickness, they've been kind of ignoring it, and they're like, yeah, it's just
Okay,
altitude, I don't
acute
feel that
mountain
good.
sickness,
High-altitude
we got
pulmonary
more-
edema,
we got more
high-altitude cerebral
diseases
edema
we're
are our
learning
greatest
about.
concerns, and they're not easy to diagnose. High-altitude pulmonary edema, particularly, it's a continuum of brain swelling, and this brain swelling is caused by a number of things. One thing is when your brain gets hypoxic, it opens up the blood flow to the brain. And the way it kills you is your brain is a walnut in a shell, right? The shell is your skull. If it swells, it can only go so far. The only way for your
So
brain to get
hypoxia
out
is
of
when
the
you
shell
don't have
is to go
oxygen,
down
right?
through the bottom of your skull, which is not compatible with life.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
high altitude cerebral edema. Descent
Okay, all right. So it cooks your brain. Yeah. So that's no good. You don't want that. But, you know, obviously she's gonna go through the gear and all of this stuff. Now here's the full thing. I still can't wrap my head around why we're doing this on purpose. But, oh yeah, sorry, that was wired. All the ways Mount Everest can kill you. This documentary, though, we're not gonna watch like the whole thing at all. I'm just gonna show you like two little parts, and it is called Into the Death Zone.
Do you have
And
a clean drop?
They kind of talked about the crowding issue that is going on at Everest right now. So this gentleman here, he is a mountaineering expert, and he is going to tell us some things about the mountain. This is from Into the Death Zone, the true story of Everest's crowded slopes.
The reasons you're not moving is it's like being on a one-way street. When I saw this emerging situation, I wrote on my blog that we have a potential disaster in development. That we have.
This is I believe last year, okay? And the way that this can happen is every year there's these windows where the weather is decent enough to actually make it to the summit, okay? And sometimes there's like 10 windows and they're spread out. Sometimes it's like a 3-day window like this year, and then everyone is kind of jammed into this 3 days. And it really creates quite a situation because there's no other way around. You know, it's not like you can pass people, and everyone is still fighting for their life as they wait in line here, which is just insane to me. But yeah,
this many people, this short a time, the end of the season, the number of inexperienced climbers with unqualified guides. This was the perfect storm.
Okay, so now it's going to introduce our characters here, but another important piece of information I thought was this spot right here.
A badge of honor that they've climbed the.
Oh, here we go.
Team declared.
The amount of garbage they have left there.
Sorry, I went too far.
Climbing.
It's not like the national teams, where if one person summited, the whole team declared victory. Now, it's a team of individuals, and every individual wants to summit for whatever their unique and personal reason is, right or wrong. They want to summit, and they're not going to give up their summit for somebody else most of the time.
Now, is there anyone that's going to this that isn't trying to summit? Like, they're just like, nah, just like hanging at base camp, you know? Just enjoy the smells of base camp. I don't know.
Many people consider it to be a badge of honor that they've climbed the highest mountain in the world. They do it for their pure ego. Other people do it as an accomplishment.
See, like
which
checking
they consider
a box,
to be the pinnacle
like I
of
was saying.
mountaineering, because it's the highest mountain in the world, not necessarily the hardest.
Oh, what a climber thing to say. It's the highest one in the world, not necessarily the hardest. Now, there are harder climbs than Everest. Oh, good. I don't know why Everest is still the big one. I guess it's because it's the highest. That's the highest point on Earth. You know, it is a human achievement. But at this point, it's not like no one's ever done it before, you know?
I don't believe that mountain climbing is about summits. I don't believe mountain climbing is about records. I don't
Yeah,
believe
this is
being the
that part
first
I was
person
telling you
from
about.
your city, the first person of your nationality is all of that important. Obviously, there's pride associated with that, which
Sure.
everybody can appreciate. But doing it for the wrong reasons is inviting the wrong consequence.
Call or visit Buyberg.com to save up to
Gosh. Lord. Okay. So, this story that they tell is absolutely insane, so I'm not going to spoil it, but I do want to play one other little clip from this gentleman sharing some information about what went wrong and kind of what this documentary is about.
Last year, there were only 3 days in the prime season, the prime week, to go summit Everest. Normally, there's 5, 6, 7, 8, or even like in 2018, there were 11 consecutive days. So you can take 500, 600 people, spread them out over 11 days, and just like my experience in 2011, not have a problem. But if you take
700 people over 11 days, and so everyone just has to take turns and work on a schedule, and then you hope nothing goes wrong.
600, 700 people, and you try to put them into 3 days, I promise you, you're going to have a problem.
Yeah,
and that's
that's
what we
insane.
saw last year.
Yeah.
Last year, on both sides of the mountain, there were 1,137 permits issued for both members and for support, the most ever.
Yeah, there's like a governing body every year that decides how many permits will be issued based on, I think, how open the window is.
It was a record in 2019. Back in the 90s, you might have had 50 people summited in a year, maybe in 95. By 99 or 2000, maybe it grew to 150, 200 people a year. That included both members, in other words, clients who paid a permit, as well as support staff.
Okay, yeah.
And that ratio then was typically one client to maybe 3/4 of a support person. So if you had 100 people summit members, then maybe 75 Sherpas would support them. That equation has changed over the last 20 years.
Now it's like 1 to 1,
It's
I
now common
think.
to have 300 clients, close to 400 clients, or members, as they're also called. And then you've got cooks, base camp support staff. So it's not uncommon to have 1,000, 1,200, 1,300 people on the Nepal
Oh
site
my
at
God.
base camp.
Okay, so there is a support staff that just chills at the base. I don't know who, I guess these like expedition organizations are paying these people. That's
With
crazy to
that
me.
meaning 800 people that are going to be attempting the mountain, both members as well as support.
This is insane. Absolutely insane.
It's like a moonwalk.
Yeah, it really does look like the moon. Like, I don't know how anyone ever looked at this and was like, yeah, this is a place where human beings are supposed to be. But, there's another, crazy story that involves Everest that was fairly recent, I believe, and
especially in the death.
This is the story of Paresh Nath, okay? And the video is called The 3 Everest Climbers No One Could Save. And this kind of highlights the difference when you can pay the fancy expedition company and you have, you know, $100,000 to spend on your climb versus you only have like 30,000 to spend on your climb, and maybe like your family had to help you, you know, get that money together. So you go up there and maybe you don't have the best support that you need, or you're not quite ready in terms of gear or physical ability or climbing ability. But now there's so many people who are not experienced climbers up there that it's actually becoming more dangerous because those people get in trouble and then there's no one to help them. And then also, okay, hold on. This, where is it? Oh yeah, okay. This, if you, wanted to learn more about those or see more video from when there was all those people trapped up there, I found this other video called Why 1,000 Climbers Are Trapped on Everest in 2025. And this is kind of different because what happened this year is these people were not trying to summit Everest, okay? What they wanted to do was see the summit from a safe area. And so they're just like hikers because they're not climbing in what they're doing, and they get ambushed by a storm, which I guess the area is known for. And yeah, so just, you know, the dumb ways to die, as they say. I just don't get this at all. But this is the guy did a really good job putting this video together. This is Terror Twin on YouTube. Why 1,000 climbers are trapped on Everest in 2025. Happy Friday, Meech. What is going on? We are we are talking about people who are trying to die doing hobbies. These Everest guys I don't get. And you know, maybe snow isn't your thing. So maybe you head down to Florida, right? And you're like, I'm gonna stay away from the snow, no ice, none of these windstorms. We don't need to be at 28,000 feet. Well, these people decided being at ground level, not good enough. They didn't want to climb the mountain. So they did this instead, okay? And these people, okay. This is the video that sparked this topic for me, okay? And I feel like once you know about these places existing, you should warn other human beings to stay away from there, and then maybe we close it off and then be done with that part of Earth, because it's a big place, you know, and we don't need to use all of it. But this is a terrifying video from a channel called Scary Interesting. And this is about quite possibly one of the most dangerous dive sites in the world. But in particular, these guys are cave divers. And if you thought the Mount Everest people were risking everything for nothing, welcome to this, because it's absolutely insane. I don't know why people are doing this, but okay, so here is Scary Interesting setting up the this is, I believe it's north of Tampa. This place is called the Eagle's Nest.
From the surface, it's just an unremarkable, uninviting, and algae-filled little pond.
He's got the like, these videos are so well produced. Like, the sounds that he uses, like, it's not music playing, but it's just like, dude, it's chilling. When you're just listening to his stories, it's insane. So if you need a good podcast to freak you out when you're at work,
deceptive. At the bottom of this little pond is a 6-foot wide vertical tube leading to a massive pitch black cave room the size of an airplane hangar.
Okay. Meech says, oh no, this is gonna freak me out. These cave divers are insane. I'm already getting uncomfortable. This was my introduction to this cave. I knew there were cave divers, but I had never really looked into it. Not really don't care about it, you know? But then I saw this video and I was like, okay, so there's a little cave and then a skinny area and then a huge area that's, like he said, the size of an airplane hangar. I think they call it the ballroom.
Wide vertical tube leading to a massive pitch black cave room the size of an airplane hangar. And that is just the beginning. These are the Eagle's Nest cave dive disasters and why it's one of the most dangerous dive sites on Earth. As always, viewer discretion is advised.
So good, dude. So
like
good.
The Florida black bear and several species of endangered snakes, but that's not all. Nestled right in the middle of this massive reserve is a small body of water that looks like a near perfect circle from the sky. Standing at sea level though, it's about as nondescript and uninviting as you can imagine. If you didn't...
So it's just like a little tiny pond that is like 20 feet across?
know any
That's
better,
crazy.
you might swear the algae-infested pool was a haven for alligators, and taking just a few steps onto the boardwalk that leads to the water is usually enough to drive people off thanks to mosquitoes and ticks. This pool is known as Eagle's Nest.
Mosquitoes are the least of your problems if you're doing
millions
this.
of years of erosion. And while it may seem like an unremarkable pond while standing on its banks, those who know what they're looking at see nothing but beauty and adventure. It's for this reason that untold numbers of people flock to it every year from all over the world.
If you're struggling to make minimum payments on your car,
I just see, this is what I get. This was our topic last week, so they think I'm looking for a car now.
That's because what lies below the surface makes Eagle's Nest special. It's a bit cliche at this point, and you've probably heard several caves referred to this way, but according to the cave diving community, Eagle's Nest is an—
Dude, look at that. Like, what? Why are we going in here? Don't go in there. It's like the beginning of a movie where, like the horror movie where the first victim just wanders into the monster's mouth.
another of the Mount
Like,
Everest
what
of
are
their
you-
sport.
why?
And much like the actual Mount Everest, it's earned this reputation. The pool itself is not unlike any
Here
other
we
pond
go.
as you descend the first 20 feet or 6
What
meters.
a cool map, okay? So look at these little terrifying squiggles you have to force your body through while you're wearing full scuba gear and not get stuck there. Then you can get down into the main area.
At around the 20-foot mark though, the pool's bottom forms a basin with what looks like a large drain at the center. In actuality, it's a 6-foot or 2-meter wide vertical tunnel that almost transports divers into another world entirely.
The ballroom. Now, can you imagine being the first person to discover this and being like, you know what? I found this hole in the swamp and I'm gonna go in it. The guy's wife is like, you're doing what? Well, I'm gonna get scuba gear and I'm gonna go in this hole I found. Gentlemen, this is why we have wives, okay? I just looking at this picture makes me so nervous, and I know what happens. Meech says, Jesus, I have to appreciate other humans that want to do this because it could never be me. Yeah, me either. Like, I'm not getting in the water in a swamp in Florida, first of all. Much less feeling around for a tiny hole that I can shove my body face first into. What?
At the end of the short tunnel is nothing but expansive pitch black darkness.
Black Magic says people have too much time on their hands. I guess. And too much money, apparently, because we're blowing 6 figures to go die on Everest.
That's because the tunnel ends in a place called the ballroom. This room is
Look
so
at that.
big that it's been compared to the size of an airplane hangar. And cave divers who've experienced the ballroom say that being inside it is like being on a different planet or even floating through outer space. If that already wasn't incredible enough, at the very bottom of this massive chamber is a sloped debris pile where divers can choose one of several tunnels to explore.
Now, you could see all of this stuff if you send a little, like, remote operated submarine through this, and we could take, like, cool video, and no one would have to get hurt. But instead, getting into this giant ballroom was not enough. They had to find other small holes in the bottom of this giant hole that they got to through a small hole. And I don't get it. It's like the meme. Have you seen the cave diver meme where it's just like feet? It's just like feet sticking out of something.
There are 2 downstream tunnels and 1 upstream tunnel. Before they make that choice, however, they're faced with a serious reality check. It can be easy for divers to get caught up in all there is to see inside the Eagle's Nest, but a sign was installed to shock visitors to the cave back to Earth. This sign is the infamous sign featuring a drawing of a Grim Reaper standing over several fallen divers, and the sign reads, quote, "Stop, prevent your own death, go no further," end quote.
So then it has facts on there that are listed out that says, like, how many people have died there. Meech says, "God, but what if you get stuck?" Oh, that's what they do, Meech. They all get stuck. All of them. There's this channel, Scary Interesting, has a whole playlist of cave diving videos, and this is like number 37 out of 45. So there's plenty of these people, and I will warn you, most of the stories don't have happy endings.
Below this impossible to miss warning are several facts about
Look at that, though. It's beautiful, right? I mean, it does look like another world. It's really cool to see, but also, we could just send a camera in there. We don't need to do any of this. I'm with you, Meech. Just looking
how
at this
dangerous
stuff.
Eagle's Nest can be.
And
that goes for even the most experienced and certified
I'm
cave
uncomfortable.
divers. At the very minimum, divers who enter Eagle's Nest are advised to be fully certified in cave diving, hold a certification in Trimix, which is a gas mixture for deep dives, and have a wealth of experience inside deep caves. And even divers who meet all those specifications.
Exactly. What are we doing? What are we doing? Exactly, Meech.
And finally, the very bottom of the sign reads,
okay, here's the sign. More than 300 divers, including open water scuba instructors, have died in caves like this one. You need training to dive. You need cave training and cave equipment. Without cave training and cave equipment, divers can die here. It can happen to you. There's nothing in this cave worth dying for. And what? I mean, these words are written in blood. And it's not enough.
Quote,
it's not enough to keep people away from here.
Quote.
It just
so what is it about Eagle's Nest that makes it such a dangerous dive, yet simultaneously incredible enough for people to keep entering? With a map depth of 310 feet or 95 meters, it's not the deepest cave ever covered on the channel, but it's definitely at or near the top of the list in terms of the most challenging.
Okay, man, I forgot how wide it was. That's pretty wild.
To date, at least 13 people have lost their lives inside since 1981, and while that might seem like an unimpressive number, consider that a study that looked at cave diving between 1985 and 2015, which is a 30-year period, determined that there were 161 American cave diving fatalities. The 2 time periods we're talking about don't line up perfectly, but Eagle's Nest would still account for 8% of those deaths. Or put another way, for every 11 cave deaths that occurred in the US, 1 of them occurred in the Eagle's Nest system, despite there being hundreds of caves to dive in across the US.
Dude, what?
Like, for example, on Christmas Day in 2013, Darren and his son Dylan entered Eagle's Nest for a dive together.
This is the story.
The father and son had just received new air tanks as Christmas gifts, and they were eager to try them out. Unfortunately, as far as fitting the requirements,
I have a problem with that sentence right there. The father and son had just received new air tanks as gifts for Christmas. if you have a hobby where you need to buy air tanks, like, that's not a hobby anymore. This isn't fun. This isn't like bowling with Becky. You can't make friends while you're doing this. You can't even talk.
While Darren was fully certified and experienced, Dylan, who was only 15 years old, was not. It's unknown
this
what
guy
their dive
wants
plane
to
was,
bring
but according
his
to the dive
son
computers on their wrists, they went as deep
into
as
this
233 feet or 71 meters. This is a depth where most divers would switch to a different gas part of the way down to avoid
He
nitrogen
says,
narcosis.
God damn it, Darren.
However, it seems that the father and son didn't, and it's thought that as they descended, they became more and more intoxicated by the regular air under the immense pressure.
So what they do is they switch to tri-mix gas, and a lot of the people who come here bring multiple tanks with them, and they did, but it's, the best laid plans, I guess.
This then led them to losing track of time and eventually becoming so low in air that they didn't have enough to make it back to the surface. And when
So that's another thing that can happen when you are diving and you don't have the right air mix. It can start to affect your brain, and you lose track of time and judgment. And what you're supposed to do is turn back when you've gone through 1/3 of your air supply. And the reason for that is you can't just go straight up and out. You have to slowly go up. Your watch tells you as you ascend when you can go up and when you have to wait, because you can get the bends, which is like a poisoning that you get from surfacing too high. It's like decompression something. I don't know what. I'm not a scientist. You guys know.
When they realized they didn't have enough air to make it back, the father and son likely panicked, causing Dylan to rapidly use up what was available in his tanks. When those were depleted, Dylan then switched to a second regulator connected to a long hose on his father's tanks, but with both of them by then breathing from the same supply, this only exacerbated the situation. It's believed that Darren then lost consciousness when the air ran out, and upon noticing that the tanks were empty, Dylan spit the regulator out of his mouth and frantically tried to make it to the surface on a breath hold. Tragically, however, neither of them survived the incident. Darren's body was later found on the debris pile at the bottom of the ballroom, and Dylan was found floating not far from a spare set of tanks they'd stashed on the way down. And this isn't the...
So they almost made it out. Well, the one almost made it to the spare oxygen tanks that they put. It's just like, none of this has to happen. We don't need to do any of this, guys. So there's the Eagle's Nest. There's a ton of stories that happen there. You can check out the most dangerous dive site in Florida from Scary Interesting if you want to hear more stories about the ballroom, which that is a fascinating cave in particular, and the videos are absolutely beautiful, but I would absolutely never. And, why is it always a family thing, too? Like this one here.
How much could you save by switching?
Oh, my Lord. Okay. Okay. This is from Exploring Disasters. Family dive into Devil's Eye Cave gone wrong. Now, if you are going to a place on the earth and it's named after part of the devil, or maybe a thing that the devil owns, like the devil's blank, you know what you're headed toward. The places get that name for one reason, and it's not because it's a fun place to hang out. Meech says, I'll stick with my snorkel, thanks. Yeah, right? Just be at the surface, near the boat. Not even too far from the boat. I don't know, dude. The ocean kind of freaks me out, low-key. It's like, It's too big. It's too dark. There's too many ways to end it all. I'm good. I like being on the beach. Okay. Beach is cool. Scuba diving, don't need to do that. I do not need to do that. But yeah, so this is the family dive into the Devil's Eye gone wrong. Now, who would think something could go wrong at a place called the Devil's Eye?
Their friends went on a dive in the Devil's Spring system, located in Florida. The daredevil younger brother decided to dive farther than the rest of the group until he got lost in the interconnecting tunnels.
Meech says, son, suit up. We're going to dive the Devil's Rusty Toenail. You know what? That's probably a real place.
Will he find his way out before his dive gas runs out? The springs in Florida are truly amazing, especially for those who visit them often. One of these amazing places is called Ginny Springs. It's connected to the Santa Fe River and stays at a comfortable 72 degrees Fahrenheit all year. People love to swim, snorkel, tube, and dive in its clear water.
Like, I don't want to make light of someone passing away, obviously. But if you go out of your way to go to a place called the Devil's Eye that's connected to the Devil's Ear, the Devil's Arm, and the Little Devil, how many signs do you need? This is not a fun place, okay? Looking at this photo, like, I already big nope, but go
These
off.
springs produce almost 80 million gallons of water every day. Little Devil Spring is a narrow crack in the ground that goes down about 50 feet and is only 4 feet wide. Even though it's small and doesn't allow for much movement, it's a special place that's worth a quick visit.
Is it?
At the bottom of the crack, there are two very tiny caves, but neither of them goes very far inside the earth. The springs called Devil's Ear and Devil's Eye are connected to each other. This connection allows people to explore underground passages that are about 30,000 feet long, which is roughly the length of about 250 basketball courts.
Okay.
These two springs are linked by a narrow path that's too difficult for regular divers to navigate.
I hate when they do that in documentaries. It's roughly the length. You guys are familiar with basketball courts, right? Now imagine 250 of those. Oh, okay, yeah, I can conceive of that, exactly. Yeah, I know exactly how long that... Like, what? What a weird unit to use, but okay.
Navigate without special training. People who are trained to dive in caves can only explore the small, interesting space in Devil's Eye. The tight tunnel that leads out of this space connects to the main passage in Devil's Ear, which opens up into a bunch of different tunnels that branch out. The farthest someone has gone into these tunnels is about 4,300 feet. More people use Devil's Ear Spring for diving because it has a special area where trained divers can go into the cavern. But the strong flow of water from this spring, which is about as much as 30 million gallons per day, makes it a bit challenging for divers to enter.
30 million gallons per day flows out of this cave. And they're fighting that current. That is crazy.
Walter Smith is the second child born to Mary and Rob.
Yeah, so you can hear the depressing and insane story of this family from Exploring Disasters on Family Dive into the Devil's Eye Cave Gone Wrong. But I'm going to try and keep it lighthearted here because, you know, we don't need to watch all of these terrifying, tragic things. But I did find a YouTube channel where these guys do more of this stuff on purpose. And they are called I think it's the Action Adventure Action Adventure Twins. Look at this. Look at this screen grab here. Does he look like he's having fun? Like, I guarantee there's 0 people at the bowling alley are chest deep in water smashed between 2 rocks. I could almost bet at every bowling alley in the country right now, there are 0 people trapped between 2 giant rocks and submerged in cold water. But, that's just me. I guess I'm lame. This is, Stuck Alone in a Cave Anxiety Warning from Action Adventure Twins. And, essentially what happens is he comes down into this cave and
Progressive Commercial Insurance offers a
Lord have mercy. And everything's going good. His spirits are high. And he gets to a spot where it flattens out. And he kind of has a weird view because the hole is full of water that he's going through. So, as he's wiggling his way through, I mean, look at this. Like, what are you doing? What? Like, you're looking at that and saying, oh, that's a pathway. That looks like, oh, it ends right here. Oh, we gotta go back. It ends right here. Nope. They're like, what are you talking about? Keep going. And he keeps going. And the problem with water in the cave here is the reflection of the water kind of deceives him and causes him to think that the cave is starting to widen out, when in fact it is not. And that's when he is in this situation right here. I mean, the sounds. Like, what, dude? He's doing this on purpose. Lower. Yeah. Okay. All right. And that's enough. But he does live to tell the tale. So check that one out, if you want. That's Stuck Alone in a Cave Anxiety Warning from Action Adventure Twins. But this other video from them is called Do Not Watch If You're Claustrophobic. And I will caution you, if you are claustrophobic and this one didn't disturb you, the other one will. Now, at least in this one, he's not by himself.
Got all our gear on.
He's got his gear, he's got his friend.
Oh, it's such a tight entrance.
Yes, it is. And I feel like number one rule of caving has got to be that you have someone with you, right? Like this, I mean, it's cool. This is cool stuff they're seeing, but I just can't see how you would go there by yourself and risk getting stuck like this. Like this. Look at this. They're laughing. Wow. We're having so much fun. We're having so much fun right now, guys.
We all did. Oh, it helps to let your breath out.
This is the literal cave diver meme where they just put the shoes on a couch. This is it.
Yeah, this is the part you gotta exhale. But then you can't breathe back in.
Yeah, okay. So, I don't want to play too much of their video, but check... If you aren't claustrophobic, check that out. It's called Do Not Watch If You're Claustrophobic from the Action Adventure Twins. But yeah. Absolutely nuts. There's a lot of fun hobbies out there, people. We don't have to risk it all. But I thought that was absolutely crazy. Definitely check out those guys if you want to see some wild stuff, because they do other things besides cave stuff, but they're known for the cave diving, action adventure twins. And yeah, definitely check out Scary Interesting. That dude, he's a very talented editor, and those stories are absolutely awesome. So, hey, thank you all for watching. Hope you had a great week. Hope you have a great weekend. Tell your family that you love them, and I will catch y'all on Monday for the extras. Peace.